All right, quickly in 10, 9. Yeah, here. You don't have a book? We'll see if we can borrow from somebody else if there's an extra one. 8, 7, 6. Chris, grab a book. Okay, just go grab it. I think there's going to be an extra one. Just grab one. Make sure you get it put back in the right spot. 5. Everybody should be ready in 4. Everybody should be ready in 3. 2. 1. Okay, flat tire. Good. If you guys forgot my name is Mrs. Lester, and I'm going to be doing your social studies lesson today. Yay! Okay, so we are going to be on Chapter 5, Lesson 3. The page number is right up here. Should be 120. Thumbs up if you're all there. Okay. So before we begin, I need a show of hands. Who can tell me what you guys have learned up until this point?
Mesopotamia.
Uh-huh.
Egypt.
Yep. Okay. Who else? Yeah. How to make mummies? Right. Anybody else? Yeah? Brooke?
Learned about some of the secret things like painting.
Yep. And the hieroglyphs. Does that sound familiar? You guys did the cartouche with the hieroglyphs on them?
Still need to do it.
Are you guys still working on those?
Painting this.
You're painting them? Okay. Okay, yeah?
Their diet.
Their diet. Who remembers what their diet was? Yeah?
For the Egypt or
For the ancient Egyptians. Mhm.
the royals ate like meats and what royals eat at like a feast.
Uh-huh.
The normal people just ate grains, vegetables, bread.
Right, absolutely. Did they do hummus? Did they make hummus with that stuff too? Hummus sound familiar? Good. Okay, so we're going to start with Golden Age. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first paragraph. We're going to talk a little bit, and then I'm going to have some of you guys read with me, okay? So the Golden Age so ancient Egypt started around 2200 BC. The ruling pharaohs in Memphis began to weaken, and so some people thought, hey, let's take control of Egypt. So for more than 200 years, the disorder and violence swept through the region. Finally, a new dynasty of pharaohs came to power. They moved to the capital called Thebes. These new pharaohs began a period of peace and order called the Middle Kingdom that lasted about 2055 BC to 1650 BC. So during the Middle Kingdom, this is when they started conquering the people, gaining land. They started doing trades with other people. They ordered the construction of a canal between the Nile River and the Red Sea. Traders were able to send goods south by ship through the Red Sea. And their arts flourished, so we can move on. You guys can read along with me. I'm not really reading, I'm just kind of discussing. So this is when they started doing the paintings on the paintings on the temples, on the tombs. They started doing more of the hieroglyphs, okay? So then something happened around 1600 BC. We came across the Hyksos. Who wants to start reading the Hyksos? Yeah?
During the 1600s, between nobles established the power of the Pharaoh or divided Egypt, ending an era of peace and prosperity. As the Middle Kingdom began, Ashkenaz invaded Egypt, a people from Western Asia known as the Hyksos swept across the desert in Egypt. The Hyksos were powerful warriors who used methods of warfare and learned to be Egyptians. Lived in horses, brass chariots, and fought with heavy weapons made of bronze and iron. As a result, the overwhelmed Egyptian soldiers and took control of the land for more than 100 years. Hyksos kings ruled Egypt. The Hyksos policy of Egyptian customs remained separate from the people. Meanwhile, most Egyptian people hated the Hyksos and planned to overthrow them. The Egyptians learned how to steer horses, drive chariots, and use textile weapons around 1500
1550 BC. We'll just call it that. It's hard to say, I know. Prince named Amos.
Formed an army and drove the Hyksos out of Egypt.
So, were the Hyksos good guys or bad guys? They're bad guys. Yeah, they're like, you know what? I'm gonna take over your land. I'm gonna make you guys do things my way. And they did that for 100 years until the ancient Egyptians finally are like, we're tired of this. We're taking back control. Hyksos, you're out of here, right? Okay, so now we're gonna enter the new kingdom. Hyksos are gone, and we're back to the way things were. But we're gonna be gaining some more territory. And my favorite person, the very first female pharaoh, you guys are going to need to remember that. We are going to start talking about Hatshepsut, which I know you guys have heard about before, right? Okay, so who wants to read about Hatshepsut, a woman pharaoh? Go ahead.
A queen named Hatshepsut.
Hatshepsut.
Hatshepsut
Uh-huh.
was one of the few women to rule Egypt. She came to power in around 1473 BC and governed with her husband. Then, after his death, she made herself pharaoh and ruled on behalf of her young nephew. Because of the title pharaoh was usually passed from father to son, Hatshepsut had to prove that she was a good leader. In order for the people to accept her, Hatshepsut dressed in clothes of a male pharaoh. She even wore the false beard to copy what had been worn by male Egyptian kings. She built magnificent
temples
and restored old monuments. Her tomb in the Valley of the Kings contains large wall carvings that illustrate some of the major events of her region.
Yeah, so she was kind of cool. She was the first female pharaoh, so she had a lot to prove, right? Because before that, they only had male pharaohs. So she's like, I want you guys to take me seriously, so I'm going to dress in men's clothing. And she even wore a fake beard because she wanted to be taken seriously. But she was not big on war. She preferred trades to gain the things that she needed. So she's like, okay, we're going to start expanding. We're going to go to... we're going to go across the Mediterranean. We're going to find out what we can get from these other people. And that's when they came across the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians had a great impact on other cultures in the region. They even invented the alphabet. Fun fact. So then we are going to start on page, that's 123, right? Who wants to read about trade and politics? Let's do, go ahead.
The Egyptians traded wheat, paper, gold, copper, tin, and tools to the
Phoenicians,
Phoenicians for people dyed. Wood and furniture, the traders exchanged goods they had falsified and needed. Rather than selling goods for money, the Phoenicians in turn traded Egyptian goods to other people. By trading with the Phoenicians, Egyptians spread their food and goods across Southwest Asia. Trade in the Eastern Mediterranean helped make the Egyptian kingdom wealthier. Hatshepsut used some of this wealth to build monuments. In addition to trade, new kingdom pharaohs developed political ties between Egypt and nearby kingdoms. The Egyptian dynasty became joined by a treaty or marriage with ruling families in Babylon Empire and Mesopotamia. The Mintakhi in Syria and Hittite Empire in
Anutalea.
Anutalea. To maintain close ties, pharaohs and other rulers often exchanged envoys or
Representatives.
These actions marked for the first time in history that a group of nations worked together to reach common goals.
Right. So they wanted to collaborate with all these other people so they can give some to them and they can give some back. That's called trading. So then when Hatshepsut died, her nephew, Thutmose III, you're going to need to remember Thutmose, he took over. He was a strong leader and general who expanded Egypt's control north to the Euphrates River in Mesopotamia. His troops also moved south far up the Nile and conquered Nubia, which had once thrown off the Egyptian rule. Egyptian armies captured nearly 350 cities during Thutmose's reign. So Thutmose basically, he wanted to gain control over more people, therefore gaining control over more land. He was more into the wars and the battles with other people. That's how he wanted to reign. So then we have, moving on to the two unusual pharaohs on page 125, we have Amenhotep and we have, by the way, Amenhotep, am I saying that right? Amenhotep? Thank you. He was married to Nefertiti. Have you guys heard of Nefertiti before? She was supposed to be like the most beautiful woman of that time, right? And they had a son. Who was their son? Do you guys know? Chris?
Tutankhamun.
Yep, absolutely. King Tut. Their son was King Tut. Absolutely. What was so unusual about King Tut? Yep.
That he got buried like with all the riches.
Was he old when he became pharaoh, or was he young?
He was
He
young.
was young. He was like 10. That's weird. Could you guys imagine right now being a pharaoh? Yeah, that's strange, right? So King Tut, his dad, Amenhotep, I'm still saying it wrong. So Amenhotep decided, I'm tired of you guys being polytheistic. We're going to have one religion. We're going to worship the sun god. So that was his big thing. He said, no more. You guys are all going to just have my religion. But do you think the Egyptians like that?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. So King Tut, he was actually, after his dad died and he became pharaoh, he's like, okay, I'm going to bring back the polytheism. And he brought back a lot of the other religions that they once had. So he was kind of a cool guy. All right, now we're on page 126, and just read along with me on this one, okay? Recovery and decline. During the 1200s BC, the pharaohs worked to restore Egypt's greatness. They fought battles for more territory, increased Egypt's wealth through trade, and built large temples and monuments. And then Ramses II took over. He ruled from 1279 BC to 1213 BC. He conquered the region of Canaan and moved north into Syria. He fought the Hittites, who lived, what we know as present-day Turkey. And he reigned for about 66 years. And finally, they got taken over by who? Can you guys read ahead? It's going to be the last sentence under why did Egypt decline? Yeah. The Assyrians. Yeah, they were taken over by the Assyrians, and that was the fall of Egypt. That's kind of what happened. By the way, fun fact, the last pharaoh during that time was, Chris? Who?
A female.
It was a female. Anybody know her name? Yeah.
Cleopatra.
It was Cleopatra. She was the last pharaoh. All right, so go ahead and look at your Venn diagrams. We are not going to do numbers 4 or 5. We're going to compare and contrast Hatshepsut with Thutmose. Okay. So who can tell me about the reign of Hatshepsut?
Are you talking about Hatshepsut?
Yep.
She was prosperous.
How?
Like she wasn't into war.
Instead, she was into peace, or can somebody help him out? Chris?
Trade.
Trade. She wanted to do a lot of trading, right? So we'll just write trade, not war. Okay, what about Thutmose? Do you guys remember what we read about Thutmose? Somebody else who hasn't had a turn yet. Ava? Thutmose? What was Thutmose? How did he like to gain power? You want to think about it and I'll get back to you? Okay, yeah.
He usually, like, invaded their land, tried to their land.
Yeah, he was kind of a bully, wasn't he? So he liked to conk. Oh my gosh, I cannot see him. Please forgive my handwriting. I write like a, I was gonna say a 6th grader. That wasn't very nice, was it?
No offense, guys.
No offense. No, not at all. But what did they both also like to do?
War.
So they like to trade. They both like to trade, right? If you kind of go back through the reading, they grew the Egyptian empire by. What are some things that they traded for? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like gold.
Yep. What else? Red shirt. I'm sorry, I don't know all your names. I'm very bad at names. Wheat. Okay. Well, wheat. Yes, you're absolutely right. But what was a little more valuable?
Copper.
Copper. That's a good one. So they didn't have a lot of trees where they were. How do you think that they acquired their wood? Yeah? Yeah, sorry.
From like people who live near trees.
Yeah. So they probably traded something for the wood, correct? What do you think they traded? What did you have a lot of? We have gold, we have copper. I didn't say silver, but you might be right, yeah. Clay. Clay could be one, yeah. Wheat. Sand. Paper. Did they have paper?
Yes.
Did they? What was their paper called? Papyrus. Yep, that was their paper. Yeah. Bricks. How about ebony? And then, I know we didn't talk about it, but we can put land up here. We did talk about that, but we didn't talk about incense. Do you guys know what incense is? Oh my god, how do you spell incense? Anybody know what incense is? Yeah. They probably had those in the temples, make the pharaohs have a nice smelling place. What do you think? All right. So go ahead and copy those things that are on the board. And then after that, we're going to get out your iPads so we can take a little quiz on Kahoot. I thought you guys would like that. Okay, flat tire. That did not sound like a very quiet transition. Okay. So before we begin our quiz on Kahoot, I want you guys, by a raise of hands, or a show of hands, I have a question for you. Why do you think that it took so long for Egypt to get rid of the Hyksos? Why do you think?
Because they had military strength, they had better, like, the metal that they used was a lot more stronger than what the Egyptians used.
Yeah, absolutely. The Egyptians were like, whoa, what is all of this sorcery that you guys are bringing in here? I haven't seen these before. So yeah, it took them a little while to gain those goods and to be able to defeat them basically by their own power, right? Let's see, what else can I ask ya? Anybody have any questions over the reading? Chris?
Yeah.
Never mind, okay.
You said, I want to say the Hyksos made the first alphabet. What alphabet?
The Phoenicians.
Oh,
The Phoenicians, yeah, they made, they kind of started the first alphabet.
oh, so do you know what it's called, like the Roman alphabet? Or?
You know, I don't know. I should have probably looked into that. But that would be a great question for, you guys remember the KWL model that we did, was it a week or two ago? Where Mrs. Party wrote something like this. It said, no, want to know, and then learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this kind of. So there's actually one more. It's the S part of the KWLS model, and that's called Still Want to Know. So that's a great question to write down, and I think that would be a great little homework assignment for us to do. Right? You don't really have to do it, but it would be kind of fun if you did. So go ahead and write that question down about the alphabet. What alphabet was it? And then when I come back, I'll have an answer for you. Deal? Yeah. How did they get gold? Friends, can you help them out? How did they get gold? Yeah. They went mining. Or did they brew? They traded. They did a lot of trading. All right. Everybody ready for your Kahoot? Do you have it up? Team mode or class?
Yeah, but first, reflect. Pull down from the corner. Yep, pull down.
And then
It's a party. Yeah, screen mirroring. And then a. Yeah, then it should pop up. And then just tap the screen. Yep. And then classic. Classic, okay. Hey friends, flat tire. All right, remember our rules about Kahoot. You may use your real name and one emoji. Is the sound up on the iPad? Here. Sorry.
Everybody in?
Eden, do you want to get one set of lights?
Should have.
Front set. Switch them. Sorry.
Is that everyone?
There we
48? Chris? Are you having issues getting in logged in? Okay. Is Chris the only one? Just let me know when you're ready, buddy. Thumbs up? Are we all good?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, friends, if for some reason you did not get in on time, there's the pin at the bottom of the screen.
So what best describes the following image? We didn't talk a whole lot about this, but you guys should probably have learned about this before. We've got working pyramid, social class pyramid, the Great Pyramid, or the Rosetta Stone. It was the social class pyramid. Okay? Other than wood, what did the ancient Egyptians use to write on? Man, I'm glad we went over that at the last minute. Lined paper, leaves, rocks, or papyrus? Nobody should get this one wrong.
We've already done it.
Oh. Okay. Hopefully that was a misclick. There are about 170 pharaohs total in Egypt. The first was who, and the last was who? I don't know if I told you the first one. I'll go ahead and give you the answer. Menes was the first one. Oh. Should we be talking with our neighbors? This is a quiz. Yes, Cleopatra was the last. Good. Which method do ancient Egyptians practice to preserve bodies for life after death? Nobody should get this one wrong. Freezing, mummification, cremation, or proper burial?
Yeah, I have duty. Yeah.
Good. What role did the Nile River have in ancient Egypt? Provide newcomers to help grow crops, provide fertile land for wheat, flax, and papyrus crops, provide rocks for building structures, provided a way of predicting the weather. Yep, provided fertile land for wheat, flax, and papyrus crops. This formal writing system was used by the ancient Egyptians. It consists of about 1,000 distinct characters. Braille, Latin alphabet, hieroglyphs, or runes? I'll be sad if everybody doesn't get this one right. All right. Hieroglyphs. We've got about 3 more. What was the name of Hatshepsut's nephew? Was it Amenhotep, Tutankhamun, Ramses, or Thutmose? It was Thutmose, you guys. Thutmose. In regards to religion, ancient Egyptians were atheists, monotheistic, agnostic, or polytheistic. Chris, is there an issue? Hey, I'm going to stop you right there. I think that your question is going to be awesome, or your story is going to be awesome, but do you think right now is the best part to type? Yeah, let's just do that at the end, okay? Yes, they were polytheistic. Great. Who were the Hyksos? A group of tourists from South America, what the ancient Egyptians called cowboys, a group of people from Asia who invaded Egypt during 1600s BC, or a group of people from Europe who brought gold to ancient Egyptians. I don't know why I said Europe that way. That was weird, right? A group of people from Asia. That's right. Okay, last question. She was the first most powerful female pharaoh of ancient Egypt. She is my lady. I love her. Cleopatra, Hatshepsut, Tuzret, or Nefertiti. It absolutely was Hatshepsut. Cleopatra was the last female pharaoh. Alright, guys. That is it.
Mia Jackson Kinsey.
Can I grab that?
Yep. Mia Jackson Kinsey.
Good job, guys.